Hi everyone, my name is Uliana and in this video we are going to look at 12 different ways to use a yoga block. Here I have two different types of yoga blocks. This one is made from foam. It's very lightweight and very soft. Some people prefer it in restorative poses where you need to lay down on the block or put some sensitive body parts on the block. But because it's so lightweight, it might not feel very secure in the poses where you need to stand on the block or maybe lean all your body weight on the block. So some people prefer cork yoga blocks. Cork yoga blocks are heavier, they are also not so soft, but they are eco-friendly and will probably last you longer than a foam block. But both are great options for beginners. You just need to see which one works better for you. And if you are planning to buy a yoga block, I would suggest you buy them in pairs. They are sold like this mostly anyway. With two yoga blocks, you have much more room for modification. Yoga blocks come in different sizes, but I would say this one is the most standard size and the most versatile. You can use this yoga block in 3 different ways: the lowest setting, medium, and the tallest setting. Let's start with this posture, Sukhasana, or the easy seated posture. This posture doesn't feel easy for many people to sit cross-legged on the floor with straight spine, and if your hips are tight, your knees will probably hover above the ground, which is not comfortable. So instead you can sit on the block. Sit comfortably but closer to the edge so that you can let your knees lower down to the floor naturally, and you will immediately notice that it's much easier to sit in this posture with the block, with long spine, and you can stay like this for much longer, for example, if you're meditating. Seated forward fold begins in this position. You sit on the floor with straight legs, flexed feet, and straight spine. For many students, this is already challenging to sit in the posture like this with straight spine. So what tends to happen, they round the spine, they collapse the shoulders and the chest. And if you go into forward bend from this posture, you might be able to touch your toes, but this pose doesn't bring you much. And your hamstrings don't get the stretch that they should get in this posture. So if this sounds like you, try it with the block. Sit on the edge of the block just how we did in the previous posture, and you will see that it's much easier to elongate your spine. From here, inhale, lengthen your spine, and from this posture, exhale, drop the belly in and fold forward as much as you can. You don't need to grab your toes, just see if you feel a stretch on the hamstrings. And you see what I'm doing here? I'm hinging from the hips. This posture with the block teaches you the correct alignment, that you have to bend from the hips in the forward bend instead of bending from the spine. For extended side angle, you can do this pose without a block, just by placing your forearm on your thigh and extending the other arm above your head, so that you get a nice stretch in this part of your body. If you want to go deeper, you can place your hand or fingertips on the floor. But this is a long way to go between the thigh and the floor, so instead you can start with the block, place it on the comfortable height for you, place your hand, and then extend the other arm above your head. Same works for revolved side angle pose. Here you can start with the back knee on the floor. Place your hands together in front of your chest, lean forward. Hook your elbow to the outside of your knee and twist. Try to bring your palms to the center of your chest. And from here you can lift up the back knee, and to intensify the pose you can place fingertips or hand on the floor. Or you can use a block outside of your foot. Just place your hand here and extend the other arm. Trikonasana, triangle pose. A common mistake in this pose is that people overextend the front knee trying to grab their toes. But you don't have to grab your toes in this pose to have a good hamstring stretch. If your hamstrings are tight like mine, block is your best friend. Place the block maybe on the highest setting first, and and then try which one works better for you. Put it inside or outside of your foot, both are fine. If you are new to yoga, you can just start with the front knee bend. Place your hand on the block, extend the other arm, open your chest to the front, and from here try to straighten your knee until you feel a stretch on this part of your leg. You can also go into triangle from this position. Inhale, lean forward, and then place your hand on the block. Traditional alignment for revolved triangle is heel to heel, but if you are new and you find it difficult to balance in this pose, feel free to place your feet a little wider so that if you are standing on two rails and your hips are looking forward. So from here, inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, bend forward parallel to the floor. And if your hand doesn't reach the floor, just place it on the block and twist from here. Half moon pose. Full half moon pose can be tricky in the beginning, so to work on it, you can use a block. Place it in line with your front foot on some distance where your hand will go. You'll start in triangle stance. So from here, bend your front knee. Start shifting your weight to your front leg. Place the hand on the block, lift your back leg, bring it parallel to the floor. Flex your foot to keep your leg active. If you feel stable, then extend your arm to the ceiling, try to rotate your torso. And if you feel stable here, look up. Now let's look at the bridge pose. A common misalignment in bridge pose is when you lift your hips, knees tend to spray to the sides, which compresses the lower back, and you might feel some pain in the lower back. This pose doesn't feel comfortable for you. In order to protect your lower back, your inner thighs should stay active as you lift your hips. So to teach your inner thighs to stay active, you can use a block with the lowest setting. Place it between your inner thighs. Come into bridge preparation. Squeeze the block lightly, and now try to lift your hips while you are squeezing the block. You might immediately notice that it feels better for your lower back. You can also use a block for supported bridge pose, which is a great restorative posture. So here, just come into bridge preparation. Lift your hips and place your block under your sacrum. So not under your lower back, but lower. And here you will have to see which setting feels better for you. If you want it higher or lower, you might even want to use two blocks if it feels easy for you. So just place your hips on the block, and it's a nice release for your sacrum. You can place your hands wide or above your head. From here, you can also try to straighten one leg or both legs. Just see how it feels. You can also use the block for supported gentle chest opener. Here you have options. Also, you need to see which setting feels better for you, and you can either place your block where your shoulder blades are or between your shoulder blades. You will get a little bit different sensation. I will try just to place it under my shoulder blades for now. So just lay down comfortably. If your neck feels okay, you can just let your head be on the floor. Otherwise, use another block under your head for neck support on the same height, or you can place it higher. And just hang out in this pose for some time. Let your shoulders drop to the floor. Shoulder stand is a great restorative posture that is often used to wind down at the end of the class, but shoulder stand is not accessible for everyone. So a common variation of the pose is Viparita Karani, legs up the wall pose. But if you're in the middle of the room and you don't want to move your mat all the way to the wall, you can try it with a block. So come into bridge preparation pose and place your block under your sacrum, just like we did in bridge pose. From here, straighten your legs up to the ceiling. So just hang out here for as much as you need to. And the last pose that we have today is reclined bound ankle pose. For this pose, lay down on your back. You will need 2 blocks. Bend your knees, bring the soles of your feet together and let your knees fall to the sides. For most of us, our knees will be off the floor because the hips are not so open. So to make this pose more comfortable, you can place the blocks under each leg for more support. And what it does is it helps your inner thighs to relax more, so they don't need to stress out to open your knees more. And when you lay down in this pose for some time, you might even notice that your inner thighs release more and you can move your block a bit further. Your hips open more. So here you can also relax and lay down for a couple of minutes. You can also use this pose instead of Shavasana as a final relaxation pose. When you're done with your hands, bring the legs back together. I hope this video was useful for you. Please let me know in the comments what are your favorite ways to use yoga blocks. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!